We come on the air, we are tracking the fallout after an explosion consumed parts of the only bridge linking the occupied Crimean Peninsula to Russia. The bridge collapse disrupted a key supply line for Russian troops fighting in southern Ukraine and dealt a major blow to the Kremlin. On the Kerch Bridge, trains carrying fuel caught fire, and a car lane collapsed into the strait below. Closed-circuit television caught the moment of impact. Russia blamed it on a truck bomb, and said it killed 3 people. The explosion destroyed just part of the 12-mile bridge. But it's a major blow to the Russian military. The Kerch Bridge is a critical supply line, the only one of its kind linking Crimea with Russia. It spans the Kerch Strait, which links the Black Sea with the Sea of Azov. Russian President Vladimir Putin opened the bridge to great fanfare in 2018, after illegally annexing Crimea 4 years earlier. President Putin, at different historical times, people dreamed of building this bridge. This project, this miracle, turned true. In Kyiv, Ukrainians greeted the bombing of Putin's bridge with joy. By Saturday afternoon, a mock-up of a new, commemorative stamp featuring a burning bridge stood in a central square. Anastasia, the news is very pleasant. Too bad it didn't happen yesterday on Putin's birthday. Russian investigators have not yet named suspects. For its part, the Ukrainian government reacted with sarcasm. Its official Twitter account tweeted simply, "Sick burn." But in southern Ukraine, the situation was worsening at the Russian-occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant. Officials said shelling had cut the main power line, so that it was now relying on emergency diesel generators. For today's other headlines: funerals are underway in Thailand for the 36 people who were killed in a massacre at a daycare center on Thursday. 24 of the victims were toddlers. Mourners gathered at several Buddhist temples filled with children's keepsakes, flowers, and photos. Some sat with their loved ones overnight, in the Buddhist tradition of keeping company for those who died young. A former police sergeant was responsible for the killings. One of the worst massacres in modern history. The president of Indonesia said today that soccer's world governing body will not sanction his country for using tear gas. At a soccer match last weekend, police had fired tear gas to disperse an unruly crowd, causing a deadly crush at the exits. 131 people were killed. FIFA advises against the use of tear gas, but it has no authority over how local governments and police control crowds. The Indonesian government says it's agreed to work with FIFA to improve stadium safety. Indonesia is slated to host the FIFA U20 World Cup next year. Trains across northern Germany came to a 3-hour standstill today, in what authorities are calling an act of sabotage. Vital cables were severed in several locations, leaving hundreds of rail passengers stuck. The cause of the disruption is under investigation. The incident raised alarm given last month's acts of sabotage on the Nord Stream gas pipeline in the Baltic Sea. And a U.S. Army base will be given a new name in the coming months to honor a Latino 4-star general. Fort Hood, named after a Confederate general who led the Army's Texas Brigade, will now honor decorated Army General Richard Cavazos. He was the first Hispanic American to become an Army 4-star general. The 2021 Defense Authorization Act directed the removal of all imagery and titles that honor or commemorate the Confederacy. And why gas prices are rising across the country again. And a corporate business leader encourages discussion of mental